Hello, students. Have a good day to all. Today, I am here to teach you the third chapter of your SS textbook, Indian Constitution. Dear students, this is an important chapter in civics part in which you are going to learn what is a constitution, how the Constitution of India was formed, and why do we need a constitution. So, before we go through these topics, let us begin with this chapter with the introductory paragraph given in the textbook. This paragraph tells us that in order to play a game like cricket, there are so many rules and regulations to be followed by the players of each team so that the game can be enjoyed in the right way. There are a set of rules which are systematically formed to play the game in a fair way. If they don't follow the rules, then we cannot enjoy the game in a right way. Okay, these kind of rules are made not only for cricket, even for many other games like football, kabaddi, and for many other institutions, etc. There are some rules and regulations which are to be followed so that the functioning of games or schools or any other institutions can be done in a proper manner. So, rules and regulations are very necessary for a proper management or smooth functioning of games or any institutions or any other like that. Similarly, when a game like cricket or football requires so many rules and regulations, think about our country India. Have you ever thought how the administration of our country is done? For the proper administration of our country, India, we also require a set of rules and regulations. We all live together in a society, okay? If no rules are followed by the people living in that society, what will be the condition of that society? Have you ever thought of that? You can imagine that there will be only chaos in that society. There won't be any peace. People will fight each other, kill each other, and there will be jealousy, hatred, mistrust, etc. in the society. On the contrary, if there are some rules followed by the people, there will be peace and all can make progress in their life. Similarly, our country, India, has also got some rules and regulations in the written form. We have a set of rules written in a book for the proper administration of our country, which is known as the Constitution of India. So, here you read the definition of a constitution: a systematic compilation of set of rules to run the government of a country is known as the constitution of the country. Here compilation means something that is listed in a single book, yeah, written in a single book. Most of the countries in this world have their own constitution. Constitution can be in written or unwritten form. Countries like Canada, UK, Saudi Arabia, etc., have no written constitution. The Constitution of India is the longest written constitution in the world. It is a set of rules by which the government rules our country. It is the supreme law of the land. Indian Constitution begins with the preamble. Now, what is the meaning of preamble? Preamble means an introduction or a preface, say for example, to a book, a written document, speech, etc., that explains its purpose. So that is called a preamble. It is a brief introductory statement that guide the people of the nation. It also presents the principles of the nation. The hopes and aspirations of the people of India are described in the preamble. Hope that this part is clear to all of you. Now we learn how was the Constitution of India formed. The Constituent Assembly was formed in the year 6th December 1946. Then it started functioning from 9th December 1946. The members of the Constituent Assembly were elected from various provinces in India. These members of the Assembly were eminent scholars and leaders in their own fields. The Assembly consisted of 389 members, out of which 292 members were elected by the elected members of the provincial legislative assemblies, whereas 93 members were nominated by the princely states of India. Some of the leaders of this assembly were Jawaharlal Nehru, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Sardar Vallabhai Patel, Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, Sarojini Naidu, Vijayalakshmi Pandit, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, etc. Frank Antony was the representative of Anglo-Indian community and H.P. Modi represented Parsi community in that constituent assembly. Then Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the president of the constituent assembly. The assembly appointed a total 22 committees to deal with different tasks of constitution making. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee. The final form of the constitution was drafted by this committee of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The assembly held 166 meetings in a time period of 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. The assembly completed the task of making constitution on 26th November 1949, and then the constitution was enforced on 26th January 1950. There was a reason to select this particular day to enforce the constitution. In 1929, that was a time of freedom struggle going on in India. So, in 1929, during the Lahore session of the Indian National Congress, where Jawaharlal Nehru was elected as the president, a resolution was passed demanding complete independence for the first time. And that day, 26 January 1930, was declared as Purna Swaraj Day or Independence Day. The first Independence Day was declared on that day. That's why this particular day, that is 26 January, was taken to enforce the Constitution of India. Hope that this is clear to all of you. Now let's look into the next point. Why do we need a constitution? A constitution is a document which finally weaves the ethos and ideals of our country. Here, ethos means a set of ideas and attitudes associated with a particular group or society. So, Constitution of India is the document or the statement of national goals and aims such as democracy, socialism, secularism, national unity, etc. This document tells us what kind of a government our country would have and how the administration of the country has to be done. A constitution is necessary because it is an important law of the land. It determines the relationship of the citizens with the government. The constitution lays down the principles and guidelines which are required for people belonging to different ethnic and religious groups to live in harmony. Dear students, I hope that you all have understood the topics that we have discussed today. Please read the chapter from your textbook for a proper understanding. And this chapter will be continued in the next session. Until we meet again, take care. Bye.